Shaq's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff. But
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon, you want one quick question?
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.
Oh, what's up? What's up? What's up? I have to get this right, man. My name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 5K subs. Let me see how to get this screen right. Screen is this the okay? That's extremely strange. But yeah, we're here, man. You know what I'm saying? Welcome back. I had it like off the whole time on the Dalen interview. That was weird and stuff, but yeah, hey, we here. The baby's recording his verse right now on DDG stream. So if you're really tuned in right now to my stream, I really appreciate that. Times a gazillion. We got a couple day break between the NCAA tournament when the games get back kicked up and things of that sort. So it's just a lot of NBA right now. And of course, the biggest news in the NBA is LeBron James today. At the time I'm recording this, it is March 26th, Wednesday. LeBron hit the game-winning putback in Indiana. It was a game where he struggled offensively. He only ended up with 13 points and 13 rebounds, but he had the most important 2 points and most important rebound at the end of the game, following a Luka Doncic miss, and it was just a putback, and it put the Lakers up at the buzzer over Indiana. So while Bron was in Indiana, of course, he stopped by on the Pat McAfee show for a conversation that lasted about an hour. It was the LeBron conversation was the hashtag. And, you know, it was weird because LeBron doesn't act normally. It was an hour and 12 minutes. Wow, that's crazy. LeBron doesn't act normal. Like, you know how most NBA players, they would do something like that and everything, go on Pat McAfee, like Tyrese Halliburton goes on there a lot. Like Aaron Rodgers is kind of like a big deal on how he goes on there a lot and kind of uses that as a safe space. And ESPN banned him for a year and he came back and just kind of did the same stuff he was doing beforehand. You know, it was a different choice, especially considering the fact that, you know, he's beefing currently right now or publicly feuding with Stephen A. Smith, but it was a strategic move. Shout out to Malik Brown, my guy Malik Brown. As he says, everything LeBron does is very calculated and is very just like he knows what he's doing. So I think in this psychological war of him going against Stephen A. Smith, because that obviously bothered him, right? Like it bothered him to the point where he didn't call him up and do it in private. He pulled up on him at the game in person because he wanted the crowd to see it, and he wanted to really prove the point to Stephen A. that he didn't like him, how he was talking about Bronny and things of that sort. So it showed then. And then Stephen A. responds on First Take, the initial time, and he said, "You proved my point." He said, you know, because Stephen A. was like, hey, you're the reason why the NBA is like this, and you're the one that didn't participate in the dunk contest, and you're the one that made the decision to go to Miami, and you're the one to do all of these things. Like he just continued proving the point. He's like, you're not better than Michael Jordan, and you're the reason why the NBA didn't load management is a thing. Like he was just doing all of this. And LeBron said, you're proving my point. Instead of talking about the games, instead of talking about OKC and Cleveland, what we're talking about instead is me versus Jordan and my son. Like, it's stupid. It doesn't make sense. And LeBron has a great point. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, the Bronny story makes sense to talk about it when he's first drafted because it's history. And it makes sense to talk about the first game because it's history. But after that, man, you're talking about a number 55 pick over, you know, every other rookie. You know, Missy over in New Orleans had a moment a couple months ago, late January, early February, where it was looking like he was going to be in the Rookie of the Year race. Stephon Castle has kind of like sailed to the top of the Rookie of the Year conversations. The kid from the kid over there in Philly, he looked like he was going to be the Rookie of the Year early on in the season after making so many headlines going into the draft for painting his fingernails and doing the TikToks and making vlogs and kind of being an influencer. And he was the coldest one out the draft class. And the number one pick, who everybody said is a bad draft, he's a boring number one pick, he's going to be worse than Anthony Bennett, turned out to be something. And he's like getting better every game. And he kind of reminds you of like what some people said before the draft, which was remnants of Klay Thompson. He doesn't get mentioned at all in First Take. Alex Sarr, the number 2 pick over in Washington, is coming along. He doesn't get mentioned by First Take at all. The first 2 picks, the 2 7-footers from France, one with American ties, with going to OTE, which is another conversation. OTE has birthed the Thompson twins, and this Alex Sarr kid. Those are the biggest. Of course, they produce other guys like Rob Dillingham and Barlow over there in Atlanta. But it's like, yo, OTE, this whole thing, they took a chance, and it was inspired by LeVar Ball and JBA. Don't get it twisted. But OTE's got this whole big thing going on, and it's like mention that, what I'm saying? The Thompson twins are doing something amazing. Both of them are kind of progressing at the same time. They're putting in the work at the same time. They're having breakout moments. Speaking of the Thompson twins, what about Houston just in general? Other than just mentioning them in a laundry list when you're mentioning teams that are good in the league or good in the Western Conference, how about doing an entire segment on Houston? How about doing an entire segment on Jalen Green and Sengun and like I said, the Thompson twin, Amin, and just everybody have Jabari. He's coming along and stuff like that. They got a good young team over there, a good young nucleus with Fred VanVleet as the vet, Dylan Brooks as a vet, Steven Adams as a vet. All these guys, they have a pretty decent thing going on, a cool thing going on in a competitive Western Conference. And that's not being talked about or spoken about enough. It's just, just things like that. It's like there's a wider spectrum. It's kind of the same thing in a W, right? So it's like in a W, people on a wide scale, Caitlin Clark brings in the most views and she brings in the most ratings and stuff like that. And it's all about ratings because that's the business you're in TV. And as Stephen A always says, I'm the number 1 show on ESPN. It's me. I'm the number 1 personality. You know what they come for? To see what they want to, like he does all of that, right? But at the same time, it's like your job is also to speak about sports in general. And it's like, how often do they even mention baseball if it's not about the Yankees? You know what I'm saying? It's things like that where, you kind of fall off the face of the earth with baseball and hockey if you're not if you're not careful following just ESPN and following First Take every day 365 days a year. It's just something. It's a lot of holes in it, and that's all LeBron was trying to say. And it's like Stephen A just ignored that, and then he went on this, like he said, press tour. Where he went on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, he went on his own podcast, and he was just saying, like, LeBron, I wasn't going to talk about this, and LeBron was like, you knew it was going to be recorded, you knew it was going to go viral and things of that sort, because LeBron knew it was going to be going back to LeBron is very calculated. Shout out Malik Brown once again, but all of these things are going on, and yeah, man, it's just like, LeBron did that, went on Pat McAfee, went on ESPN. Purposely went on someone who's not directly tied to Stephen A to talk about Stephen A and to talk about Windhorst. The Windhorst thing, when he said he's weird, he's acting like my best friend. I don't think Windhorst, to defend Wendy, Windhorst has never claimed to be LeBron's best friend. He never claimed all of this. All Wendy said was literally that just he's known of LeBron and known LeBron for a long time. He's been covering him since high school. That's all Wendy said and claimed. Obviously he did say the thing of he wanted to sign with Nike to be like Jordan, and he's wearing 23 to be like Jordan because like Reebok was offering him more money. Now, see, that's up to he disputed that, but I mean, like, it makes sense to me, in my opinion. And LeBron kind of said that, where he was like, no, I signed because I wanted to think about what am I gonna wear away from the thing, and what I'm gonna wear is Jordans. I want to wear Jordans. I want to wear Griffey's. And he started naming all these Nike athletes. I want to wear Dion's and these and that off the court. And it's like, you kind of just said what Windhorst said. So that was interesting. And I think one of the more interesting things, he did Shaq when he said the thing about, hold on, let me pull it up of what he said exactly, because he had some words. There was like a direct diss to Shaq, and I was like, yo, that's your teammate. It's crazy. He said, there's so many guys out here talking about the game that don't know the game. Hold on, let me pull this up on my thing and pull it up on the screen for you all. But he was saying, so he essentially said there's so many guys that's talking about the game right now that don't know about the game. Even if they played, they were just kind of bigger and stronger than everybody else and naturally talented at the game. And then they were kind of done. And he said the reason why I'm still going 20 years in is because of my mind. I actually know the game, which is kind of crazy statement, but he really popping it. And he's speaking his mind. We appreciate the honesty because, you know, for the past 2 years, it's been a meme on how much he's been lying everywhere in old interviews, new interviews, and all of these things and stuff like that. So I do appreciate the honesty. But like he was kind of like dressing up the entire interview like he was being mature and he doesn't pay attention to stuff when at the end of the day it's like he's human just like everybody else. And he does hear the stuff and the stuff does bother him and he does want to pop back and he's clapping back at a lot of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? He says there's so many guys out here talking about basketball that don't know the game. That's why I'm still able to play 40 years old because of my mind. And he played with Shaq. You know, as you guys know, in Cleveland, it seemed like that was going to be the year. I think it was like 2010, and it seemed like that was going to be the year that LeBron got his first title. One of his last years in Cleveland, if not his last year in Cleveland, and it didn't work out that way because Shaq just had that kind of effect on the smaller player who was a star. And yeah. Hold on. Let me pull this up, y'all. And I think honestly, sadly put, the biggest thing to come out of this era of LeBron and Shaq in Cleveland is the Kevin Hart special. All right, because that really broke and changed Kevin Hart's career. I think Kev said he did that for free because Shaq just needed another person for his comedy special or his comedy show, you know, the Shaq Comedy Fun House or Comedy Weekend, Comedy Jam, whatever it's called and stuff like that. And that's really what got Kevin Hart on. I think that's the best thing to come out of this kind of relationship, this era of LeBron and Shaq and stuff like that. It was unfortunate that it happened so late in Shaq's career because I would have loved to see like the end of Phoenix Shaq with LeBron, where Shaq still had a bit of it left. But this is definitely a shot. Like the more I think about it, it's even a shot because he's talking about I'm still able to play late in my career, 40 years old, 20 years in, because I know the game. Might be a direct shot to playing with Shaq directly of how Shaq wasn't able to play at the level that he was always able to play at because he was just in his prime, just more athletic and more talented and bigger than everybody else. That is crazy. That is crazy. I know a lot of people might not discuss that just straight up, but that's insane. It was his second to last season. I'm already sharing the tab. Cool. I'm on it. Good stuff for shot. Hold on, let me go out. Here we go. Scroll down. Okay, cool. So he averaged 12 points. He averaged 6.7. He ain't even averaged 9 rebounds. He averaged 23 minutes. Oh, yeah, he was done. He only played 53 games. Oh, man. So he missed nearly 30 games. He only played 23 minutes a game. He averaged 12 and 6. He did average over a block, though. So he did average over a block. You have to give him credit for that. But, man, oh, man. This is 100% a shot at Shaq. These are the things that you have to like pay attention to if you like pay attention to the stuff that he said. Like it was a lot of stuff that LeBron said. Once again, LeBron is extremely calculated. So it's a lot of stuff, small stuff that he said that you just have to kind of catch if you're paying attention to. The biggest thing, one of the biggest things that stood out to me in this interview, fresh off of having the Wilt Chamberlain debate again with my friends, how I think Wilt is better than LeBron James. He's better than Nikola Jokic, and he's better than Stephen Curry. It's like he said, you can't compare eras because it's different stuff going on in each era. And then he went on to compare eras. He was like, oh, yeah, you know, if Giannis played in the 70s, he would score 250 points in a game. It's like, bro, you just said don't compare errors. Let things be great for what they are, which is another way of just pleading your case of why people should believe you're the GOAT. I don't know. It's a lot of things. Like with Bron, I ain't gonna lie to you. Bron, as a person, he a cool dude. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Bron is cool. Bron will talk to you about his greatness. He'll answer anything. At the same time, it's like I ain't even gonna lie to you. Forget it. I rock with it. I rock with it. I just changed my mind in the middle of that statement. I rock with it because what is Jordan gonna do? Jordan gonna plead his case and try to sway you his way of making you believe he's the greatest of all time. They said Jordan and Wilt were at the NBA. What was that? 25 or 50? NBA 25 or 50, yelling at each other. Rest in peace, Bill Walton. Bill Walton told that story, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and Jordan still does it, where Jordan's still defending his legacy, bro. Where Jordan is still saying, "Oh, this and that." Whoa, whoa. You know, I got Kobe over LeBron because Kobe got 5, Bron only got 4. You know what I'm saying? But man, right here with this thing right here, this meeting, Bill Walton said they was like banging on the table and yelling at each other about who was the greatest player of all time, man. And I love that energy. Rest in peace, Wilt, the Dipper, man, the Big Dipper, man. Shout out. I have been doing the Aaron the Plumber. Know what I'm saying? Big Dipper. Will Chamberlain, all of these things and stuff like that. But this is big stuff, man. This is big stuff. This is just GOAT talk. To be honest, GOAT talk. Everybody pleading their GOAT case. Kobe did the same thing. Kobe played in the Drew League, and he said, what he say? He said, Kobe said, nah, do it again. Me, Mike, Wilt. Me, Mike, Wilt to the fan. That's what he did, bro. So that's what all the greats are doing. So I can't even complain that he's doing this way and things of that sort. I think it's just, it's just Bron's turn to do it. He an old head. He at the end of his career. He just stayed in his career. He just stayed in his GOAT case. So like I can't, fault it. I do think he's kind of like masking it a bit more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like other people, they can mask it and that really show like I'm making a case that I'm the GOAT. It's kind of like they just do it and they're like, if you know what's going on, you know what's going on. So that is a bit, kind of can come across as manipulative. But if you read between the lines, it's just obvious what he's doing. He's just pleading this GOAT case. Hold on, give me a second. But yeah, justice for Wilt Chamberlain, 100%. Wilt Chamberlain continues to get more and more disrespected as time goes on. And I don't think you can just look over the fact that this man averaged 50 points and 20 rebounds in a season and then came back and led the league in assists, even though it was only 8.5 assists, but he led the league in assists because people said that he couldn't pass. He's just a ball hog. He just shot everything. And if you look at his highlights, the way that he moves up the court, the way that he does chase down blocks and then comes back and then leads to fast break, it looks like LeBron. And he was doing this with less weights, less resources, no references, no reference point. That's the main thing that I'm saying in all of this. It's like there's no reference point for these guys. So when you say like, oh, if you drop Kyrie in the zone, they're going to send him to the witch trials. No. Kyrie wouldn't be like that if Kyrie was born in the 40s, bro. He would look like John Havlicek or Bob Cousy because that's the only reference points that they had back then. Like what they were doing was groundbreaking, and it looks normal to us now because like the next generation, Pistol Pete had John Havlicek and Bob Cousy to look after, right? And he drew inspiration from those guys, and then he took from them, and then like you could say Steve Nash or White Chocolate, right? Jason Williams looked at what Pete Maravich did, and they brought that like flair to passing, and Stephon Marbury and those guys. And then you have a guy like a Stevie Franchise who comes straight out the street. You have a guy like Rafer Alston, who is literally N1 street ball legend in the NBA. And you got kids that grew up watching Hot Sauce and Skip to Malou and Ayo and the Professor on N1 mixtapes on ESPN2 on Saturday mornings, on Sunday mornings, right? They grew up watching that, and then you get Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's an effect. It's a trickle down effect. When you think of like kids who grew up, their favorite games are NBA Ballers and NBA Street Volume 2. Kyrie Irving is a direct product of that, bro. So it's just like you need those reference points to get to where you are today. With that being said, no reference points, little to no like equipment nearly as advanced as now. Technology, recovery things, recovery methods, and all that stuff. Like none of that stuff really exists the same way that it does now. That considered to be what he's doing now and to be who he is now is or who he was then in his time. Wilt Chamberlain for sure is better than what a lot of people give him credit for. So that's why I got Wilt so high. And I'm gonna continue to say it, bro. I'm gonna continue to make people mad. It is what it is, bro. People say, "Oh, you trolling, you this and that," bro. Do the research, bro. Do the knowledge, man. That's it. That's all I'm saying, man. Do the knowledge, bro. Shout out to Wilt Chamberlain, bro. But yeah, that's what I had to say about that. Let me think. What else?
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but.
Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Brandon,
we
you want one
can't
quick question?
ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.